Greetings 8th standard students, welcome to our English class. In this class we are going to see verb and its kinds. What is meant by verb and what are the kinds in that verb. So what is meant by verb? A verb is a word indicates action or a state of condition. So what is meant by an action? Okay, in your home what you guys are doing, you may play, you may eat, you may dance. So here what are the words that denote the action? Dance, sing, eat. So these words are called as a verb, and that verbs are the hearts of English language. So a sentence without a verb doesn't contain any meaning. Here I dance, is there any meaning? I am dancing. This sentence only having a meaning. And what are the kinds of verbs? Finite verbs, non-finite verbs, action verbs, linking verbs, auxiliary verbs and modal verbs. These are the kinds of verbs. First one is finite verbs. What is meant by finite verbs? Yes, these are the actual verbs and they are denoted as the roots of sentences. So these finite verbs are considered as the roots of sentences, and this verb is performed by the subject. For example, Alex went to school. Alex went to school. So here the action going is done by Alex. Robert plays hockey. Robert plays hockey. Here the action playing is performed by Robert only. He is one of the best players. So these are the examples for finite verbs. And non-finite verbs. What is meant by non-finite verbs? They are not actual verbs. So finite verbs are the roots of the sentences, but non-finite verbs are not the actual verbs. They don't have any direct relation to the subject. So in finite verb, the verb contains the relationship with the subject, but in non-finite verb, it doesn't contain any direct relation to the subject. Sometimes they become the subject themselves. So sometimes the non-finite verb may act as a subject. Let us have the forms of non-finite verbs. They are infinitive, participle and gerund. What are the three forms of non-finite verbs? Infinitive, participle and gerund. The first one is infinitive. Infinitive verbs are generally used with the preposition to. So when a verb is used with the preposition to, it is called as infinitive verb. To play, to walk, to vote, to meet. These are some examples for infinitive verb. Alex went to abroad to play. You have the right to vote. Here to play and to vote are the infinitive verbs. Next one is he went to Delhi to meet his friend. So here what is the infinitive verb? To meet is the infinitive verb. He went to Delhi to meet his friend. Next one is participle. What is meant by participle? Generally participle is denoted as the third form of the verb, but it contains two divisions, present participle and past participle. So ing form of verbs are called present participle. So when a verb is in the form of ing, that is having ing at its end, it is called as present participle. Playing cricket is his only hobby. Here playing is the present participle. Listening music gives us peace. Here listening is the present participle. So it has ing at its end. Then third form of the verb is called past participle. For example, I have a broken bat. I have forgotten my lines. So here broken is the third form, break, broke, broken. So broken is the third form. I have a broken bat. I have forgotten my lines. Forget, forgot, forgotten. So here forgotten is the third form of the verb forget. So it is called as past participle. Next one is gerund. What is meant by gerund? Word end in ing form of the word which acts as a noun. When a word ends with ing and it itself acts as the noun, it is called as gerund. Walking is a good habit. Singing is one of my hobbies. Running is a good exercise. So here walking, singing and running, these are called as gerund. These three words act as a noun. Here walking is a noun, singing is a noun and running is also a noun. So it is called as gerund. Next one is action verbs. Action indicates the action of the subject. Yes, an action verb of course indicates the action of the subject and it can be transitive or intransitive. So the action verbs may be transitive or intransitive. Before that, what is meant by transitive verb? A transitive verb must have a direct object. In a sentence, when a verb contains the direct object, it is called as transitive verb. For example, he wrote a letter. Here a letter is an object. So here wrote is the transitive verb. I painted the car. Here the car is an object. So painted is the transitive verb and also these words wrote and painted denotes the action. Wrote denotes the action of writing and painted denotes the action of painting. These are called as transitive verbs. We are having one more example. She is reading the book. Yes, here reading denotes the action itself. So they are called as transitive verbs and these comes under the category of action verbs. Next one is intransitive verbs. Intransitive verbs are used without a direct object. It don't act upon anything. It doesn't contain any object and it is not followed by an object. It is called as intransitive verbs. She smiled. Is there any object in this sentence? No. She is a subject, smiled is a verb and this sentence doesn't contain any object. So it is called as intransitive verb. I wake up early in the morning and in this sentence also there is no object found. I subject, wake up verb. Wake up early is a verb. In the morning is an adjacent. So here there is no object found. John is sleeping. Here John is a subject, is sleeping is a verb and in this sentence also we are not having any object. So these are the examples for intransitive verbs. Ramesh wrote an essay. Ramesh wrote an essay. Here an essay is an object, so wrote is considered as the transitive verb. Ramesh wrote well. Ramesh wrote well. Here there is no object. So here wrote is denoted as intransitive verb. So the action verb wrote may be transitive and intransitive. Here you may note down the clear example. Ramesh wrote an essay is a transitive verb. Ramesh wrote well. It is an intransitive verb. Next one is linking verbs. Yes, linkers means connectors. These verbs are also denoted as connecting verbs. It adds details about the subject of the sentence. So it gives more ideas about the subject in a sentence. It connects the subject with an adjective in a sentence. Before that, what is meant by an adjective? An adjective qualifies the noun. Here the be verbs am, is, or, was, were, these are called as linking verbs. He is a monster. He is a monster. Here monster is an adjective and is a linking verb which connects the subject with the adjective. He is a monster. They are players. They are players. Here are connects the subject with the adjective players. Next one is the other linking verbs are act, feel, remain, appear, become, seen, etc. These are other linking verbs. Why they are called as other linking verbs? Everything seemed normal. Everything seemed normal. James felt hungry. These are examples for linking verbs, and some of them are also be action words. To identify that, we have to replace them with the be verbs. Yes, we have to replace the linking verbs with the be verbs. The meaning remains the same, that they are called as linking verbs. Here we may have the example, she appears ready for the game. Here appears is the verb and it is replaced by the be verb is. She is ready for the game. There is the meaning remains the same. She appears ready for the game. She is ready for the game. Next one is the food seemed delicious. Here seemed is a linking verb and it is replaced by the be verb. The food was delicious. The meaning remains the same. You look happy, you are happy. Here look is the linking verb and it is replaced by the be verb are. You look happy, you are happy. The meaning remains the same. And in this class, students, we have seen types of verbs, finite verbs, non-finite verbs, action verbs, linking verbs, and in our next class we will discuss about auxiliary verbs and modal verbs. I hope you all understand about the verb and its kinds. I will catch you in the next class, students. Thank you.